Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Otaku Talk. I'm your host OD. Happy to see you guys here. Today we're going to be doing a really quick review, and a late review for chapter 305 of My Hero Academia. I just didn't really have a lot of time to get around to it, and I don't really have a lot to discuss in what happened. So this is going to be relatively short, but mainly I want to spend time talking about the very end of the chapter. So you know what? Let's just get right into it.
頑張れそう頑張れ諦めないで口笛吹きさ歩き出そうよ Going now
Alright guys, chapter 305 of My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia. I am super excited for what all of this means. Since the beginning of this series, we've wanted to understand One for All, and we've had guess after guess after guess, and now in the recent chapters, it just seems like we're getting a majority of the answers to all these questions. And on top of that, ever since we found out that he could hold multiple quirks from the past users, now the main question has been, what are said multiple quirks, right? So basically we end off last chapter with what's her name? Tomura, the holder before All Might Sensei, and basically she requests that Deku kill Shigaraki. And it's just like, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. And we all kind of saw it. Basically, he suffers from, what's that chick from Promise Neverland? I cannot think of her name for the life of me right now. I can think of, shoot, and I didn't bring my phone, so I'm stuck on this one. But anyway, basically we have, the shonen protagonist that's on the everyone has to live, everyone has to survive side. And while it's not realistic when it comes to shonen, you prefer that idealistic character, that one that, like, I don't care where there's a will, there's a way, I will make it happen. I don't care what you say. I don't care how hopeless it is. I don't care how small of a chance there is. As long as there is a chance, I'll achieve it. And so he believes that he is going to simply just, Oh, by the way, Emma. I could not remember it. Emma from Promised Neverland. Ha 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 ha. Slipped in there. But he believes that, you know what, like, no matter what, I'll find a way. I'll find a way to resolve the situation without killing Shigaraki. And as of this moment, I just don't see how that is possible. Now, here's a couple. So anyway, long story short, she tells him he has to kill her nephew. He's not about it. Is it her nephew or a kid? I forgot their relationship. I just know they're related. And basically it was an entire Rickroll. I'm not even gonna like beat around the bush. We come down to the end of it. He's just like, no, I can't do that. Like, it's my hero way, basically. I'm not gonna kill him. I'm gonna do everything in my power to save him. When our minds touched, all I saw, you guys may have seen like hate and hatred and murder and all this other stuff, but I saw like a crying child. And so like my job is to rescue that crying child. And then they have flashbacks of even Deku when he was young, trying to kind of, relate. And I think that was touching and whatnot, but Shigaraki is dangerous, fam. He is dangerous. Like, he was pretty dangerous already when all he had to do was touch you to make you, crumble to dust. But now it's way more serious because he didn't have to touch you. He can just look at you. And on top of just looking at you, he has like super strength, regeneration, and abundance of other powers, right? So yeah, man, this is not looking good. But it was all a Rickroll. Basically, she was like, you know what? I didn't want you to kill him either. That was a test. Like I said in the other video, I think that like a common thing with One for All, recipients is that they just have to be exemplary human beings. Like that just seems to be the case. They just have to be. They have to be like uncorruptible people. Like let's be real here. They have to be uncorruptible people because you cannot accidentally fuck up and give someone one for all who has the potential to become like one of the strongest beings on the planet. You can't screw around with that power. You can't just like, he looks like a good fit. I'll give it to him. Bada bing, bada boom. No, because you would give birth to something that could possibly rival All for One in like evil and destructive capability. So I do think that it was a requirement that you know they had to find people like Deku, and Deku out of all of them is going to be the best because he's the nicest. So we'll see about that. But the main thing I want to talk about is at the very end. Basically, they talk more about One for All, and I'll be real with you. I'm still not understanding some of these explanations that were given. I might just be stupid. I might be lacking reading comprehension. But like I don't know. There's aspects of and like the part how it was bred to like resist All for One. I don't really know what that means. Like when he tries to take the power, can he? I don't know. But at the very end, the two people that we saw last video standing in the corner, and I don't think I talked about them last video. I don't know why. I guess I just didn't feel like it. But there was two people standing in the corner of the last video, and they become not video. Well, yeah, video chapter, and they became relevant this chapter, and there are two other successors. Now, I've been looking at Reddit, I've been looking at forums, and there's a bunch of theories there, so let me just get into them. And let me discuss my own personal theories. One theory I have is that they were villains. I think that's a general consensus in the community that they were either villains or used their powers like poorly, not in the right way. And so they feel ashamed, and that's why they've removed themselves from the conversation. Some other theories I have are they may have been more anti-hero-ish, maybe kind of like Bakugo is, where they maybe weren't necessarily evil, but they were reckless with their powers and either caused some kind of incident, injured someone by accident, abused their power by accident, and caused some kind of situation. Another one I have is that they're actually good guys, but they didn't use their powers well. Either their quirks sucked and they feel ashamed. Maybe their careers as heroes, they didn't do a good job and feel ashamed. Maybe they got their ass whooped by All for One, feel ashamed. So there's a lot going on. And your guess is as good as mine. We haven't had any real hints or clues about why they could possibly be so reluctant to face Midoriya and talk to Midoriya. I'm just happy to find out that they will, and we'll be able to find out two more powers. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, finding out about their two powers and how it's going to play into the grand scheme of the plot and help boost Deku. So that's going to be really, really, really interesting. Something that I want to discuss here and now in this video is exactly how, two things. First of all, before I jump into that, I asked the question, I think a video or two ago. If someone could answer it, I'd be really, really appreciative. When they use that whole goblet chalice analogy for All for One, and how if you had a quirk already, when you got One for All, it would overflow. Are they talking about One for All in its entirety, in its whole entirety, with all the quirks included? Or are they talking about like the One for All quirk, the compounding quirk? And then, for example, every time Deku learns a new quirk from one of the progenitors, does it fill that cup a little more? Because the way they made it sound is pretty much was that it's pretty much the entirety of One for All. But for me, I don't know, that's kind of whack. That's kind of dumb. So you're telling me that if you have a quirk already, One for All puts you over the edge. But if you don't have a quirk, you can get One for All and all these other quirks and you're straight. I don't I don't know, like, because they even go on to say that like he could technically put it in another quirkless person, but the problem isn't like putting in another quirkless person. The problem is finding another quirkless person, because you have to realize Deku was in like the late generations of when quirks first started happening. By the way, I think that's going to be a huge plot point. Normally series might not touch on the power systems. I think that, how quirks came to be may be touched on. There may be something behind there. We might learn more from that doctor. I think that might be another like secret part of that secret part of the story that like the mangaka is kind of, hiding under wraps, that like we don't really think is a big deal right now. The main focus is beating All for One, so we're not thinking about it. But with how quirks can be experimented on, transferred, and all that stuff, I do think that maybe at the end, once we defeat All for One, or part of defeating All for One is going to be discovering how did quirks come about in the first place. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The problem is for Deku that the reason he's the quote unquote last successor is because if he puts it in if he puts One for All in the body of someone with a quirk already, it'll overwhelm them. But then the other issue is finding someone without it, so he has to get it done here and now. My thing is, I just don't get how hypothetically, he puts it in somebody with a quirk, it overwhelms them, it's about to kill them, so they put their hair and put it in, say they find someone quirkless. Once again, that quirkless body inherits One for All, inherits all the quirks of One for All, and they can just handle it. So I'm not sure what I'm misunderstanding. So if anyone understands it better than me, I would very much appreciate any feedback and help. Thank you. All right. And so the last thing I want to speak on today, like I said, I'm going to keep it a real short video, is how I think this series will end. And I'm a little sad because I think the ending is going to be very corny. I'm going to like it in the end because, it stays true to the character. And fun fact, I think that movie with Bakugo alluded to what Deku's gonna do at the very end. You know what movie I'm talking about, where Bakugo becomes obtains One for All for a little bit. So basically the whole deal behind One for All is it can't be forcibly taken. It has to be willfully taken. So what? And now we just learned in these past chapters that if you have a quirk already, it'll be too much for your body. So what if Deku just gives it to One for All for One, or Shigaraki, basically, whoever like is being possessed at the time or whatever, but like. Well, the thing is, I don't think he wants to kill Shigaraki, so he wouldn't give it to him. Something let's say One for All, All for One takes Shigaraki's body, kills Shigaraki, something or the other. It's a very, very feasible possibility that Deku says, you know what, here, take it, gives it to him, and then counts on the fact that not only does he already have a quirk, he already has multiple quirks, and that compounded with One for All that already, destroys your body if you have multiple quirks, just destroys you. Maybe this is why All for One was looking so desperately for a regeneration quirk, because I said it last time, what happens if any of the predecessor's abilities are regeneration? I doubt it, because maybe they would have mentioned it. But why couldn't he pass his power down to someone with the regeneration quirk if he could? I know certain types of quirks are rare, but I'm sure there's multiple types of regeneration quirks. So that's the question here. That's the question. Not the question. That's my theory, at least. That like in order to the very last fight or whatever, Deku's gonna have to pull the same thing he did in that one movie where he gives away his power. He's gonna once again give away his power, but he's gonna give it away to All for One. And All for One's going to be happy for like a second, but it's going to be one of those moments like, and I truly honestly hate these moments, but there's been numerous villains in various series that I've read and watched where they've gotten too powerful, and as a result of their own power, been destroyed. They've been destroyed from the inside out just because they accumulated too much power that they weren't able to control or wield. So that's my end game theory. You heard it here first. I don't know if anyone else is preaching that, but like, I don't know. That's just what I think is gonna happen. I think that's what's gonna make him the greatest hero, not just because he was able to, go plus ultra and like put in work where it counted, but he made the biggest sacrifice a hero and a person in a quirkless society could make, and that's to go back to being quirkless, making the ultimate sacrifice. I mean, I think that would like weigh so heavily on the audience. Honestly, I think that would be really good. Like yes, it would annoy me, but I truly do believe that in the long run, like, it would be poetic in a way. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me once again. This has been Otaku Talk. I'm your host, OD, and I'm signing out. Take care. Have a great day.